Well, I think we have to evolve a lot. I think the reality is, let's start with the context that the world, the people of the world, want someone they can trust, and our profession is the most trusted. But in being the most trusted, we have to evolve our skill sets first to be aligned with where businesses are going, what technology is transforming, how businesses operate, and the like. So we have to look inwardly, each and every one of us, and say, what do I need to do to change my skill sets? And particularly as we talk about new entrants into our profession, we need to make sure that their skill sets evolve as well. And we talked about in the program this notion of a T-shaped professional. So the traditional model for an accountant was you had a lot of technical competency, accounting, auditing, tax, things of that nature. And we will still have that, but it's much more important in the future to have these skill sets that are about what I would call connecting the dots of business and technology and information, skill sets like agility and systems thinking and all of those types of things. And so those have to combine with our technical skills so that we remain valuable for the people who rely on our services. And then as it relates to how we operate, particularly if we're in a finance function, we're going to see the human capital element change. We're going to have less entry-level people, and we need to get people up quicker into what I call the middle of the organization, where they have business acumen. And so if we think about the history of our profession, it may have taken in the past somebody 6, 7, or 8 years to get to that middle. We're going to have to find ways to move people up much quicker with their skill sets, because technology is going to take over some of the transactional type of work that we have traditionally done, and we have to find that balance. Well, there's geopolitical that's affecting the accounting profession. We have this tension going on in the business world between global connectivity and isolationism, and it's, you know, we went through probably 15 years of almost a continual movement to global connectivity, and we're in a phase in which there's some pause in that. There's some tension in that process. And so that's a big factor. Now, what I like to say, and I think it's really important for people who are in our profession or aspiring to be in our profession, is that our profession is the most local, the most national, and the most global of all professions. So you can think about whatever town you live in, accountants are very important, supporting small business in that town. Then you can think about whatever country you live in. There's sort of national capital markets and businesses that are national, and accountants are very critical to that process. And then we have a world full of global businesses and global supply chains, and accountants are very critical to that process as well. And so anytime there's a disruption in that has an impact on our profession. So that's number one. The second thing is clearly the evolution of technology and how it's going to affect what we do in our profession. And AI is the watchword in that environment. And there's two things I would point out on that. One is, I think a lot of people in the world are sitting back saying, well, governments are going to regulate AI and it's not going to be this sort of crazy scenario. I don't believe that's actually the answer. There'll be some regulation, but governments move pretty slowly. AI moves pretty fast. And so there's going to be a disconnect in that environment, and that affects our profession and the business world very, very, very dramatically. And then I think specifically AI is going to have very significant changes to what? So as an example, AI is going to be able to do virtually all, probably 98 or 99% of the thinking on how we will handle an accounting transaction. So as accountants, we would look at a transaction and we'd figure out the accounting treatment of that, or maybe the tax treatment of that. AI is going to be able to do that. There are AI companies today that would say that they can take 90% of all transactions and deal with it without any human intervention. And they'll say within 2 years, they'll be able to do 98% of all transactions. Well, that's a really big, significant change in our profession. And so the ability for us as professional business people and accountants to take instead the data that comes out of those transactions and help drive decision making. Useful data for useful decision making becomes very, very critical, not necessarily the work of analyzing the specific transaction. So those are the two big changes that I see. Well, the first piece of advice for a student, either that's a year or two away or just entering the profession, is to understand you're entering a profession. I think that's very, very important. We are the most trusted group of people because the users of our information, the people who make businesses off of the material and the decisions that we help provide, they trust us. And we sort of live in a world with not a lot of trust. And so being committed to that professionalism where you're going is a really key component for a student. The second thing is, I would take, as a student, I would look at what is happening and say, I have a huge advantage. The advantages I have is I'm a digital native. I have grown up with a digital pace that is unlike anybody in the profession today. I've gone through university that has been heavily influenced by digital change and digital evolution. And so I'd be committed to that going forward. And I would be part of, I'd have a mindset that says, I'm going to be part of making this profession great in the future because of how I take my digital capabilities and help the profession change in that environment. And so I wouldn't be fearful about the role of the profession. I think the role of the trusted profession, whether you're in management accounting or public accounting, is going to be very, very critical. In fact, it may be more critical in a world of AI than it has been in the past, and it's been very critical in the past. And so I would look at that as an advantage as well. And then the third piece of advice is that you have to be in a continuing learning model. And that would be true no matter where you would be going to work or what you have studied. The reality is your life, if you're a 24-year-old, your work career, no matter what you do, the most successful people are going to be the ones that embrace really unimaginable change that's going to occur in your lifetime. And so, I think if you combine all of those things, I think you can see a bright light in our profession and great opportunity. And plus, I think the skill sets that you have and the exposure that you get into our profession are going to be deployable in a lot of ways that we can't even imagine today.